against Fnatic.
Not sure we can even say Alex gone and now we've got Nick and he's not performing.
No,
That's
Nick is
why,
doing
because
fine.
Nick's doing really, really well in his new role at Gambit. Let's move on from that one though, as we are getting into Champion Select and the first two bans coming out. No surprises here. Kale for Fnatic, Kassadin for Gambit.
So Kale being banned away against both Darian and Nick, and of course Kassadin very standard. I wonder if Fnatic want to try and aim towards some junglers and then maybe first pick Elise in for Cyanide if they ban away Elise and get Diamond on Skarner once again and try and do the same thing. For now, it doesn't look like it. Instead, they actually take out the Yasuo against Nick. So two mid bans, we can say, targeting towards Nick.
Two bans to Nick. Will they keep that trend up here? And will Gambit also stick to mid laners? Well, they'll take out Lulu, which is, I guess we can say, a diverse ban, as is probably Kale as well, since you can get rid of it for SOAS or for Xpeke. Maybe we'll even see a Ziggs ban coming out, because again, that's kind of a blanket ban, if you like, that covers multiple roles, or at least it does now after SOAS played the Ziggs earlier on in Super Week in that top lane. Evelyn actually will be the ban here for Fnatic, so that points to first pick Lee Sin. Yeah,
could be first pick Lee Sin. Of course, if they do first pick a mid laner or top laner, and then Gambit goes with the Lee Sin, they have Elise as the backup jungle pick here for Cyanide. So they only take away one of the junglers. We need to see if Gambit actually wants to ban away Elise or Lee Sin then as their last ban.
Well, they've taken Kassadin and Lulu so far, and they'll take out Orianna as the final ban. And look at this, Ziggs left up, and Fnatic say, yep, we'll take that. You don't know where it's going to go.
So instant locking the Ziggs here. Need to see if Gambit wants to get Elise or Lee Sin for Diamond, so he can start making some earlier plays, because I really think they need to get some early aggression on here. Help out the lanes, try and snowball a game actually. If they do pick Renekton for Darian up in his top lane, they should pick an aggressive jungler with it and just try and see if they can shut down whatever source is playing in the top lane. If it is the Ziggs, they need to be able to gank him early on, and if he goes top lane with something else, if they want to try and snowball Darian, they do have the chance now with both aggressive junglers being up.
Well, let's see. We're going to see a possible... I say a possible Lucian, let's be honest.
Well, this was pretty well.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a Lucian in there for Genja. And a possible Twisted Fate first pick here for Gambit. So locking that in.
So really fits into the whole, let's try and snowball a game here. If you get some good ganks early from the Twisted Fate, you can really start to get things rolling. And of course, Lucian for Genja. No questions asked. We need to see if he wants to build Trinity Force again as the first item. As pretty much the only AD carry in both NA and EU, and also Korea, I have seen at least for the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, at the best of times, Genja has sometimes left us with question marks and a lot of surprises as to where he goes with his builds. And obviously, AD carries obviously more than last week, and maybe even more than yesterday. You know, people get into these trends, but something new to play around with. Genja seems to be still finding his feet when it comes to how to really build properly on each AD carry in 4.10.
If he gets enough time with it, he will get to his late game point anyway and be very strong. So we need to see what he decides to build, and if he thinks it's the best build, then of course, fair enough. And yeah. Well, you're not going to get any of the junglers here.
No.
Mr. Diamond.
That's one way to do it, right? You ban out Evelyn, and then you take Elise, and you take Lee Sin, which tells us then that SOAS will have that Lee Sin in the top lane. Yes. As we saw from yesterday, we're going to have Ziggs in the middle lane for Xpeke up against Nick's Twisted Fate, and Cyanide will sit with Elise, which then leaves Diamond with a bit of a question mark now.
It could be Skarner again, if he wants to play it once again. We could potentially see maybe a Jarvan. I know he practiced a lot of a certain champion, which he won't be able to pick. Sad enough for him, which would actually fit in here. But Skarner should probably be the one for him. And we need to see again if he wants to farm up to level 6 and then start ganking, or if he wants to try and do something before here. If the lanes survive by themselves to the level 6 point, then the farm tactic really works on Skarner, because you are so good at clearing the jungle. You get a lot of farm from it, but it requires your laners to survive the first few levels by themselves and dodge around the ganks from Cyanide.
So Irelia actually was a last-second switch out there. Looked like they may be going for Nami for Edward in the support role, even though we've got that Thresh still left open. So Darian gonna have Irelia. Had a bit of a torrid time in the last game. You hear the crowd there cheering. Reckless on Vayne would be something very interesting to see.
It is a champion who really shines with Bladed Ruin King and Ghostblade. You become very, very strong in this mid game, in these one-on-one split push fights if you go for them, or generally also team fights just for those 6 seconds where you have your Ghost Blade. You will be very, very strong. I'm picking Cleanse against Twisted Fate. Remember, you can't use Cleanse against Skarner. You need the Quicksilver Sash, so it's used against, of course, Aurelia and Twisted Fate.
So, interesting.
Fnatic need to lane swap this one, though. I mean, you have Cleanse and you have Vayne. It's a very risky lane early on here. We need to see if they get the lane swap or what Gambit can do against them.
Yeah, especially against something like Nami, who's going to have a couple of different options to really lock you up. Let's see, though, what Gambit decide to end with here. Looking for that support for Edward around in your screen. And to be honest, he's impressed us recently with Thresh, but it's going to be Nami.
Yeah. So very nice to set up ganks with Twisted Fate. If you land the gold card, very easy bubble. You can then follow with, so you have a lot of CC. And a little cool trick with Nami. If you do max your W, you should actually be able to break the Black Shield from Morgana around level 5 on Nami. As long as Morgana doesn't max her Black Shield, of course, which normally they don't. They will max the Q. So you can use your W to break the shield and then land your bubble afterwards, which would be very nice setup with, of course, the Twisted Fate coming down, trying to kill both Yellowstar and Reckless in this bottom lane here. But if Fnatic do get the lane swap, would definitely benefit them. Get some farm on Reckless, get a fuel levels, otherwise with the cleanse and just by being Vayne, he's gonna have a hard time early on.
And then send Soaz maybe round the jungle with Cyanide.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can do some crazy gank.
if there's one thing that's good about Elise and Lee Sin and how strong they are early on, put them both together and you've got a pretty deadly combo that's going to run riot through the jungle and maybe appear on a couple of those lanes.
And the lane swap would work well against Aurelia. We talked about it last game, how she needs to get a Trinity Force early on to really get her mid-game power spike. You would delay it by lane swapping here. And Fnatic, because they have Vayne and Ziggs, they do have some late game. Lee Sin, though, will fall off.
Well, guys, now that you know the champions, you still think that Fnatic are going to win this game, or can Gambit turn it? Tweet hashtag FNC win or hashtag GMB win to @LOL eSports. We'll see if your votes actually change for this one. Something tells me that they possibly won't. If we look down that Fnatic lineup, you've got Vayne, a champion, which you've seen Reckless previously on do wonders with. We know that Vayne right now and how the items have really changed around in 4.10. Fit to a hyper carry like Vayne really well.
But there's a comp here from Gambit who can actually dive onto Reckless. I mean, Twisted Fate poured in his face, Skarner goes towards him before the Quicksilver Sash will be completed, and they might be able to lock him down, but it's going to be hard. They have to go through Ziggs, of course, they have to go through Morgana, Black Shield and everything to try and peel for Reckless.
All ifs and buts at this stage. We're going to find out, though, how this one goes down as we get into game for Fnatic versus Gambit, our final match of the day. And Fnatic, of course, looking to keep up their unbeaten super weak run. And actually, they will go level with SK Gaming in the table in second place if they can win this game.
So they have been looking better. I mean, I believe before this week, they've only done like 2-2, 1-1, 1-1-1 for all the weeks.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they win this game, it will be the first time where they actually break it. And it would be good for them because they are looking better and better. They seem to figure out the 4.10 here. Of course, we could give some credit to Aranir, the new coach. And we need to see how they want to play this comp because they do have the option of putting Reckless in one lane. We're talking out of laning phase, of course, here. Put him to split push and put Source in a different lane to split push as well. And then try and simply stretch Gambit out. But it's always risky against the Twisted Fate because he can just pour down and turn a one-on-one to a 2v1 very, very fast. So I'm not sure how they exactly want to play with this combo. Or they just want to look for team fights and protect Reckless as much as possible and let him do all the work in these fights.
The vote there, 68% to Fnatic, still on the same team, but come down a little bit from the LOLesports.com vote, which was 84%.
Yeah, it was like 84 or something.
In favor of Fnatic. So you guys thinking that maybe Gambit will be able to turn this one? As I said before, Fnatic versus Gambit, a classic match over the years. Maybe a little bit different now. Gambit really struggling here in the summer split.
But look at all these early wards from Fnatic in the jungle of Gambit to try and spot out, okay, where they're sending their duel. And we need to make sure Reckless and Yellowstar go the opposite way. We need this lane swap. So they have a lot of deep wards. And they will actually spot now 4 members, also the dual lane from Gambit moving to this red. So they know we need to send Reckless and Yellowstar down to this bottom lane now. Even though they're far away, they have to run the entire way down and dodge around Genja and Edward.
So I was trying that with the Q. Of course, he's a lane Sin rather than a jungle Lee Sin, so not going to have.
For now, it's going to be jungle Lee Sin.
Yeah, for now he is. You're not wrong on that front. Actually, sticking around with Cyanide's Elise right for the start of this one. It's going to mean that Peke and Nick, since his buddy systems are in place, maybe have a bit extra free time. Look at Yellow Star's position there. He's actually just going to spot them coming across, and now Soaz and Cyanide moving towards that middle lane area. There is Yellow Star just going to try and disrupt them a little bit. Yep. That might be enough time for Fnatic to actually come over and get involved on this blue buff. Yellow Star continues to be a real pain in the rear end. There is Ziggs coming around. Diamond going to take a lot of damage. Back. Here comes Lee Sin. First blood comes in for Yellow Star. Darian's going to have to flash here. Will flash away, and that frees up the blue buff for Fnatic and the first blood. That was so nice tactically.
Such a smart play. I mean, both Lee Sin and Elise will take the blue buff. The first blue buff very, very fast, and then they can just move instantly over with Yellow Star, trying to delay Gambit as long as possible. And because now Lucian is in this top lane, Edward hasn't shown himself out in the mid lane, now moved towards the top lane once again. They know there's only the chance of someone like Diamond maybe making it a time to stop them from this dragon here. Well, and he decided not to run down there.
Yeah, started coming but backed away from it. Fnatic really not messing around at the start of this game. First blood coming in early, managing to steal away both blue buffs and getting a dragon here. 3 minutes 40 into the game. That leaves them 1,300, 1,400 gold ahead right from the very get-go. And look at this, Darian may end up being the first victim. Reckless does take a tower hit, but there's the Q landing. Darian's going nowhere. Cyanide gets that kill, although Morgana did go down to the tower, so it's not really a problem for them. No damage was done to him, and therefore no kill for Gambit. What a start for Fnatic.
Such an aggressive and such a good start here. You got Dragon, you got double blue buff, you even picked up the first blood and a second kill now onto Darian, forcing his teleport as well. He will be able to pick up some farm though. Soar still on 1 CS. Been running around, part of Dragon, and kills instead of farming. So Darren at least now can get some farm. He's 1-on-1 against Reckless at the moment. Both AD carries, of course, even on farm. They've just been staying in their lanes.
And yeah, those mid laners just like, well, a lot of action, not really for me. There is a satchel charge onto the gold card. He flashed mid-air, free bubble, and a kill for Gambit. And just like that, turning it on completely. There's a stun though on the wall against Darian. The knock-up and the binding coming in. And I don't think Darian's escaping this one either. Tumble will leave Darian with literally nothing. He's going to run into the tower. It'll be the death of him anyway.
He tried. He wanted to get into the tower, hope the kill will go over to Yellow Star. Instead, Reckless managed to pick it up. Edward still staying around this mid lane here. We did see the combo with Twisted Fate, point and click stun. You follow up very easily with the bubble and just have a lot of CC to actually take down Xpeki on Ziggs here.
Good damage from Edward as well there onto Soaz's Lee Sin.
Respect an army.
Respect an army. And Genja continues his free time of farm, as does Reckless down bottom. Reckless has got a 10 CS lead, 1-0-1 as well. It's 3-1, 5.5 minutes in. Not a scoreline that we've been really used to seeing, although I have to also say, when we look at trends, 4.10 has brought us a lot more kills generally in a lot of the games.
So we have had 2 slow games today, but the last 2 games have really been action all around the map, pretty much from the start. I mean, we saw early first bloods from the junglers with some ganks. We've seen a lot of dragon fights early on as well. And just some very fast games. And this one, with the start from Fnatic here, if they can keep it going, they can just keep extending the lead. They do need to get some farm on Soaz though, who's still very far behind farm-wise compared to Darian, but will of course have gold from the Dragon, from his 2 assists, so he should be happy enough. And he just keeps farming away with Sana. Doesn't even need to go to a lane yet.
Yeah, just to give you a bit of a comparison on that one, when you look at 0-2 Darian, who's got a bit more farm in there than Soaz, who's himself got 2 assists with that Dragon, sat about 200 gold more. So gives you a little bit of an idea how that all works out generally over the how that gold is going to be spread. Darian himself now leaving that bottom lane saying, look at this, we're 5 minutes into the game, I've died twice already. In the last game we saw him die 4 times very early on in the match, and I think he's just bored of dying at this point, going for the safer option of following Diamond around.
Yeah, good guy jungle creeps won't really kill you.
Well,
unless of course you have Broken Shot, and you will die to your red buff.
Oh, burn.
I love your Broken Shot, don't worry.
So Edward here going to be waiting on that top side of the map. Darian's actually going to come over there as well, possibly, but Fnatic saying, you know what, don't even need to be there, let them farm up, because our AD carry is farming quicker, already has a kill, already has assist, already got the cutlass in, and that tower is going to be going down. If not maybe on this exact wave, then certainly on the one directly following. And there's the second spawn in of the blue buff. I'm interested to see whether Fnatic keep up that blue buff pressure that they had before. And there we go, Twisted Fate going to get involved. It was smited away on towards Cyanide. Bomb comes out, Yellow Star's low, that's a good bubble onto Peke. Diamond's going to be coming around as well. Peke needs to get away from this one. Gold card will follow through, and Genja gets the kill on that one. Diamond in the middle of no man's land, but he's grabbed Yellow Star, and that's a double kill now for Genja.
So everyone from Gambit just collapsed onto this blue buff here because they knew Fnatic was doing it, and with Reckless in the bottom lane, they knew they could be 5 versus 4. Picked up 2 kills here. Very good reply from Gambit, getting some much needed gold. They still need to be careful though, because this Vayne is just farming away like he wants to. Oh, they're going for Sana now.
TP coming in from Darian. Not going to be spotted there for Fnatic, and there we go. Got vision now. Cyanide realizing it may be in a bit of trouble from this one, guys. Reckless will come around to help. They've got Lee Sin on the bottom side of that area as well. They actually turn around, going in towards Nick. Repel comes down. Eddie's going low as well. There's Lee Sin jumping up to the front, and they do manage to finish off Nick. Will they get any more? They're going to keep going around. Yellow Star's like, I want a ward. We're not going to get any more kills from this one, but fast reaction from Fnatic.
So we see both teams invading on the blue buff. Cyanide went in by himself, and the rest of the team joined once Gambit actually collapsed onto them. Now Diamond and Darian behind enemy lines here.
Diamond's, well, that's just really hurting, because going to be going down to the turret.
Yellow Star coming up here around the dragon.
Yellow Star is coming around. This should be an easy binding for him. Oh, he's picked the wrong direction, but there it is. He's going to catch Darian. Lee Sin will be following through. There's Peke as well. Mines won't actually get the slow there onto Darian, but they've got full vision of him. Slow comes down. So as surely will be able to help finish off his kill. Is Peke with a bouncing bomb right through to get the 5th of the game for Fnatic.
So while Gambit picked up 2 kills when they invaded on the blue buff from Fnatic, Fnatic just did the exact same thing here. 2 kills on the Gambit. Took a while. Had to chase them around here. Also managed to pick up the blue buff and keep the pressure going. Genja just been happily farming up here. Of course, he got the double kill in the last fight, so he's gonna be very, very strong. Need to see what he decides to build. Dragon here. Darren with no teleport. He needs to run from base, so Gambit will just give it up.
Yeah, Soaz's got TP, so he could get involved if he needs to. Now, I have to ask you a question here. So, Genja's had time constantly in this top lane, complete free farm. Decided to go with a second Doran's Blade on that top side. Even though he's probably not getting into any fights in the next couple of minutes the way that he's playing this one.
It gives the lifesteal. If he builds Infinity Edge, he's gonna need the lifesteal from the Dorans building up anyway, because he won't build anything. He's not gonna go Bloodthirster, of course, so he's not gonna go Blade. He can still go Blade, but with the double Dorans, and if you do build Infinity Edge, you're gonna get the 6% lifesteal. And from before, Diamond actually did pick up the blue buff, so I was wrong on it. Still 2 kills for Fnatic, but a blue buff for Diamond.
Yeah. Twisted Fate, no, you know, not the end of the world if a Twisted Fate doesn't get that buff, since he can sustain his mana thanks to that blue card. And now we see Darian going to the top lane, gonna have a bit of free time to actually farm on that front, and they've sent Genja now down towards the bottom lane, and he's going Trinity Force again, Deficio.
Trinity Force once again. Last game, I believed after Trinity Force he went towards the Infinity Edge, which, yes, you get some crit from the Trinity Force, but they don't actually synergize too well. You really want to get like a static shift of Phantom Dancer to provide the extra crit for your Infinity Edge, the synergy. Again, Kobe was talking a lot about it in the NA LCS, how you need to maximize your crit when you do have Infinity Edge, because it's such an expensive item, and you need the damage to really reach your power spike in towards the late game as well. So Genja decides to not, first of all, go Trinity early, Infinity Edge early, and then Trinity Force as well. So don't 100% agree. Let's see what he's going to build though.
Yeah, let's see how that helps out for him. I mean, if he does manage to get up to that Trinity Force quickly, then he can still have a big impact with it. Of
course, I mean, yeah, he does. He does have two early kills here. So he should be able to complete it fairly soon.
On the other side though, Reckless has already got his Blade of the Ruin King finished. As you can see there, the damage already, and Darian losing half of his health instantly.
And you see it again. Gambit, they sent their bottom lane, or their dual lane to the bottom lane. Instantly Fnatic are like, okay, we're just gonna send Reckless and Yellow Star to the top lane. We don't even want to deal with any 2v2 action here. We just want Reckless to keep farming. And now once again, they can put pressure onto the tower. Sana joining in. If Darren had stayed to try and to defend the tower, they would just have went straight for him and killed him once again. So smart by Darian to back away, knowing he couldn't do anything to defend this tower here. Now they need to try and get the bot tower.
And we see Genja and Edward trying to do a similar thing on the bottom side of the map, and actually that's quite a chunk of damage onto Soaz. He actually has gone tanky, as he did before when he played that Lee Sin in the solo lane. Going to be going the way of the Sunfire Cape as his first item. And he probably needs a bit of help down, though, on this bottom side of the map. Gambit got a ward inside of the Tribush, and they'll be feeling safe with Ashley. Nice another good bubble coming through, and another chunk of damage going the way of Soaz. And I think that is going to be the tower. Maybe not this wave, but the next one afterwards.
So Reckless is actually moving now down towards his bottom lane with his blade, feeling strong enough for him to actually lane against Genji. I'm not sure if the tower is going to go. It will, unless Pekka actually walks down to ult the lane and clear the wave. But it looks like the tower will go down, and then Reckless can just pick up the lane afterwards. So trading top tower for bot tower at least.
So here is Reckless saying, getting involved. Is that enough to scare Gambit away? Well, there's your answer. It's not. Genji gets the final shot in, and Gambit take their second turret of this matchup. Leaves us, in terms of gold, still with about a 2,000 lead for Fnatic. And let's not forget, the Dragon taken very early on in this game after the blue invade and the kills already, for Fnatic. Yeah, we've already seen a couple of them going down, so Fnatic really holding strong on that front. We've also seen the mid laners now getting their first item complete, both of them going for the Athenes.
Especially good on Ziggs, because you still need to spam your build. Here we have seen Twisted Fates mix up the build. Some still goes for Athenes. We've seen Morello Normicon, Triple Thorns into Def Cabba's first item. There's a lot of options now for mid lane item builds. This tower, however, is going to go down because...
Oh, dead.
Yeah, it's down too.
Yeah, that's the binding cocoon combo that we were talking about, funnily enough, in that last game as well. One of them hits, the second one's
and it's
sure
so annoying to play against. You just know, if one hits, that's it. Stun lock for like 5 seconds. I'm just going to stand here and die.
And Pekka just throwing his ultimate in for that extra damage. I mean, he sat with a blue buff. It's going to be coming quickly off cooldown, and actually will be getting himself another blue buff just to refresh that last one. And with 1 minute 18 for the Dragon, Fnatic actually have 4 men on the bottom side of the map. See that Soaz been forced back a little bit in lane here by Darien, who's now got that phage done.
Pushing it down. Soaz taking some damage, but still a very big wave from him actually. Jumping away, baiting us a little bit. Just trading some damage back and forth here. Darien wants to just push it out. And most likely back away, unless he's very aggressive, because he's very far up and there's not a lot of wards.
Oh, Darien has been completely baited into that one. Well, that was pretty sick stuff from Soaz though, just diving behind him as he dashed forward, kicked him into tower range. Yellow Star actually popping his ultimate, which he didn't really need in the end. Cyanide coming around as well, and Darien being somewhat, I feel, outsmarted there on the top side of the map.
Well, he does have teleport. Dragon spawns in 30 seconds. I'm not sure if Gambit actually wants to try and team fight for it. But then again, they can't keep giving up all the dragons for Fnatic. We're just gonna see this one more time with Soaz. Darien actually jumped in for the minion.
Yeah.
And then Soaz just walked behind him like, okay, I'm gonna take you into the tower then. And he's my teammates.
Yeah, Yellow Star actually got the kill there with the proc of his ultimate, which is always a nice feeling to have. But Dragon's coming up here. Let's have a look at the mini-map, because Soaz is actually recalling to base.
Shop first.
Darien has come down. Both have teleport. Darien won't need it, of course, because he's already in and around that area. As again, Yellow Star going to land more crowd control. A lot of damage coming his way, though.
Oh,
Edward. There is Nami going to be knocked back, and Peke bursts him down on the killing spree. Now Diamond going to be chased by Cyanide. A good slow will land. It's all going to be about the cocoon.
Diamond dies
into it.
Now
if I can get my words out. Soaz is now coming. There's no tower there for Nick, so it's all about the Q, which does land. Is he going to wait for the gold card? He flashes behind him. Nick will flash away from the binding. Dodges the cocoon as well, but Soaz may just have enough damage. No, Nick somehow survives it.
Managed to survive here still. Dragon is alive. Diamond died for it. Edward had to die as well. Both members still have flash ready in case they get out here for a fight. But Fnatic now only sending 2 members for Dragon, is pushing up this mid tower because there's no wave clear. There's ult on Nick to try and go down and join if he wants to help Genji trying to kill Soaz or Cyanide here.
Genji gonna try and be the man.
Be a man, come on.
Need. And that turret has gone down.
Teleport as well.
Dragon's gonna go. Darien's coming late to this party, and there's 2 champions that could dive over the wall. In fact, the rest of Fnatic coming in as well. Darien caught completely out. That's his 5th death of this game. Makes it at least 10, because I remember 5 deaths from earlier on today as well. Not been a good day so far for Darien. Leaves Fnatic here in this game. Slowly but surely approaching a 10,000 gold lead.
So a bit like the game yesterday between Fnatic and Millennium, Fnatic managed to get a lot of wards around the dragon before everything started, and then they just positioned themselves before the dragon even spawned and waited for Millennium to move into the river. Gambit here, it's the same deal. We get the wards from Fnatic, they're in position, Gambit walks in to try and get some wards down and just get caught up by either Elise or Morgana, and end up dying for it. And then in the end, it's just another dragon for Fnatic and some kills on top of it. Source before didn't manage to get the kill on to Nick Gill.
Well, Edward forced to flash away there.
I do actually think before Source, when he went in, he flashed a little bit too early. He didn't get the damage from his Q, so he Q'd towards him, flashed, didn't get the damage, and therefore Nick actually managed to survive. However, I don't think Fnatic minds. Small mistake, and I might be wrong as well. Just looked like it.
There's another blue buff either way for Peke. And before the game, we talked about how passive Millennium were against Fnatic and how Gambit couldn't afford to do the same here again today. I mean, Fnatic, let's be honest, at level 1, right at the start of the game, were incredibly, you may even argue, over-aggressive as Darian going to get caught out. Ultimate's running from Morgana. Darian, where you going? Getting stunned up. Diamond is going to be coming around. Soa's got the damage. He's landed the Q. It'll be enough. And now even fighting a little bit as well. Binding will be dodged away from. Diamond keeps chasing. His ulti was already used, and Twisted Fate will help secure that one. Now a good tidal wave from Edward over the side, and I think Yellow Star will become another victim. It's going to take a while, but it is a double kill for Diamond.
Double kill for Diamond here. Gambit were ready for the gank. Nick instantly teleported up. Diamond was running as well to join in for the fight here and turned it around. Darren did have to die, but remember he was 0-5, so he doesn't really give too much gold anymore. And Gambit can actually afford to sacrifice him and pick up a double kill on Diamond here on the Skarner. Continue to build very, very tanky. Only has the Lizard as damage. Will just become this tank who goes forward towards you, slow you down, try and hook onto someone like Reckless if he can. Expect it could be a target as well. We need to see once they actually build the Quicksilver set.
The buff control from Fnatic has been very, very good so far as well. Constantly invading once the blue buff of Gambit has spawned on into the map. What's the next target here though for Fnatic? With that taken down, there's an inner turret still left in the bottom lane and in that top lane. For now, seem quite content with getting a little bit of extra farm. There's a long-range cocoon, binding, satchel charge will come across, will it explode in time? Everything will explode in time. Nick's gonna fall, and it's Cyanide that goes on the killing spree.
So they get the kill once again. We see the whole Elise Morgana with Pekka set it up with the rubber ducky first, forced Nick to outlast early, and then managed to pick up the kill. Now they're moving towards his top lane. Nobody's there from Gambit to defend it. Nick still has about 17 seconds, and his ult should be the same, but it's going to be a tower for Fnatic.
Now, I mean, no real reaction here from Gambit. What are you going to do? They've managed to lock up Edward. Soa's going to try and follow through. There's a stun onto the wall, and that's surely a dead Edward here. One more auto attack from Reckless will finish that one. And Fnatic moving so quickly away from the tower to get the kills. They got the tower as well in the end, and now they're going to be pushing Inhibs. And with a Ziggs, I'm not sure how the rest of Gambit that are alive right now outside of Edward, who just went down, going to be able to hold on to this.
See, getting some damage and just poking away Diamond, looking to try and engage. Flash is ready. So if the Black Shield comes in from Yellowstar in time, he won't be able to grab anyone. And now Rex is just pushing this mid lane, Source joining in with the rest of Fnatic.
Actually, quick spin around from top to mid lane. Constant pressure, culling used by Genji, actually will be knocked away by the satchel charge of Peke. I mean, Gambit do have a decent amount of wave clear, and there again, they're going to get locked up. Where's he going to go? Actually does manage to get away to the back. Cyanide crawling through. The Spiderling will be enough to get the kill. Cyanide locked up by the bubble and eventually shut down to a 1v1 there.
So 1v1, but still Fnatic, they keep the pressure going, constantly getting some damage on the towers. Seem like they want to back away now, should have quite some gold after some fights. Some towers going down as well. Dragon in 1 mid, no, they're actually staying with this. Oh, Diamond.
Oh, Diamond. Knocked against the wall, satchel charge.
Oh, got
good
away.
Flash though. Good flash into the bubble. Edward really saving his life there. No follow through from Fnatic. Reckless and Yellowstar and Soas both, all three had flash available. Decided not to go through. Fnatic have got a load of gold to spend, as you mentioned before. Pretty much, well, 12 to 1800 gold across the board. Actually, Cyanide did end up picking up a Randuin's Omen now in there with his Ancient Golem.
Dragon in 40 seconds, Source can just pick up some farm, then go back to base and should be able to get to the dragon before it spawns. He's recalling now. It's a good timing for him. And the rest of Fnatic already moving towards the dragon area. We can see the same deal. They put up some pink wards. Try and spot out Gambit if Gambit moves in to try and stop them. This time around, they are very far away from it. Don't think they really want to go into a team fight here.
No, I don't think so either.
Then again, they have actually played very aggressive in this game. Even though they fell behind early, they tried to make plays, especially at the blue buff where they picked up the 2 kills. But Fnatic still has been one step ahead of them. Especially also, just look at the wards around the map here. The blue wards from Fnatic just in this dragon area. They can see everything happening. If Gambit moves in towards them, we'll spot them. Yellowstar is waiting in the bush to land a binding, and then they can go all in.
Yeah, binding into Cocoon, the tried and tested combo out of Fnatic here. That CC enough to lock everyone up. Then you've got even the time to put that satchel charge in and knock them even closer towards you. There's a binding coming out, didn't quite have the range. Indra actually, in terms of direction, did dodge right into it pretty much, but Fnatic here pushing that mid wave up. Top lane is actually pushing in favor of Gambit. Bottom lane is pretty much even down on the bottom side of the river. As that binding close to landing onto Darian as well. Gambit needs to be real careful here.
Fnatic are just looking for the fight, because they know they're so far ahead. Diamond might be caught out here. Source doesn't manage to get onto him.
No,
Sana does.
Q landing onto the minion, but here is the push through. Cocoon has already landed. Don't even need the binding. They'll throw that out to the rest of the team, and that leaves a 5 versus 4 with Gambit trying to hold on to the turret. Will Fnatic just say, you know what, guys, let's back away, let's have ourselves a Baron?
So Gambit actually had some good wards in the jungle here to see where Fnatic was moving, yet Diamond, I'm not sure what he was doing up there in this top lane, got caught out of position, and now Fnatic starting the Baron. Still a ward from Gambit here, so they know it's happening.
Ward in the back as well, that'll be spotted by the pink.
We are still very early, so you take a lot of damage from it. It's gonna be risky for Fnatic, and they actually disengage from it. Just force Gambit to move in, stop them here. And now Fnatic just put their mark on the jungle. Look at the wards.
And here is Yellowstar marching on forward. Roots of mobility. There's a flash ulti. He's going to go. Who's he going to go for? Darian, Edward. He kind of went for both, and both of them got away from it. Little unlucky there from Yellowstar. And those are the kind of plays that you need to make. Sometimes a little bit of a risk can give you a high reward.
And managed to trade flashes with Edward. The both supports about flash for the next fight. Sana now on this blue buff once again. I mean, Fnatic's really been controlled this blue buff throughout the entire game. From level 1, where they moved in there, stopped them from doing the blue buff, and picked it up. I think Diamond managed to pick it up once or twice, but that's been about it.
Fnatic instantly moving around for the final inner turret that stands on Gambit's side of the map. Will they be able to hold them off? Ziggs already throwing down that early minefield, and yes, they have Twisted Fate to throw those wild cards out and get rid of those minion waves, but just the zoning that you get with Ziggs. We see it there, Cocoon actually landing onto Edward. Here's the ultimate coming out of Peke. Not quite the damage to get the kill, but they were looking for the tower anyway, even doing some good damage to Nick there on the backside. There it is, Soas going through, he's pulled straight in with the tidal wave as well, and that was nicely done by Nick.
He knew it Outlast here, Source like, oh, should I go for it? And he went in, instant Outlast. Source got punished, and a kill for Gambit. Still lost the tower though.
Still, it's a 10,500 gold if we're really counting this one. 15-7 up in kills. If you look across the board, there's 4 with at least 3 for Peke on Ziggs. Reckless is 3-0-4. Yellowstar has continued his trend of playing absolutely brilliantly over these last couple of weeks. He's got 13 assists out of the 15 kills.
Part of every kill.
And he's been part of every kill, because 2 kills actually fall into him. There's Twisted Fate going to pop the Destiny, but there's a TP around the back. Soas is going to go man mode. He might find himself 1 versus 3 though here. Rest of the team coming, but very slowly. What are they going to do? There's the kick on towards Diamond. Have they got the damage? Of course they've got the damage. It's going to be Soas. Oh no, Reckless that gets that one to go on the rampage. Q will land onto Edward as well. Oh, what a stun against the wall. And Edward now will be the next one to go down to Reckless. Fnatic are in a 5 versus 3 to siege the tower.
Let's see here, they're actually moving towards the Baron, so want to pick up the Baron buff and then go towards the base of Gambit Gaming. Once again, 2 kills. Teleport behind from Source with Lee Sin is coming, kicks Diamond back. Doesn't even matter who he kicks back at this point. You just want to kill someone, keep chasing up here. It's gonna be Baron for Fnatic. Full control here. Gambit lost on 29 minutes to SK Gaming. Seems like they will be able, or they need to hold 2 more minutes here. Otherwise Fnatic can do the exact same thing SK Gaming did to Gambit. And it's been pretty much the same story for Gambit. They fell behind early, don't really have any war control, have no real pressure on the map. They try to make some plays, it backfires, and the other team just get really far ahead early on. Wasn't Millennium like 10,000 gold ahead by 20 minutes?
Yes. It's a similar scenario here.
It is.
Not in a similar way, but this is also a similar story to how Fnatic beat Millennium.
True.
As well, so some real similarities between the games so far this week in Super Week. And I'll tell you what, Gambit themselves, we talk about the Copenhagen Wolves down there at the bottom of the table. Gambit aren't all that far away from them at this point.
No, they really have issues early game. Copenhagen will choose some stupid fights in the early game where they need to still scale up with their champions. Gambit overall, when it comes to early game, especially aggression, they seem to lag behind, and that's where often the other team gets very far ahead. And Darien often ends up dying quite a lot. Edward plays very aggressive, sometimes it backfires, he gives a few kills away. And overall, it's just very hard for them, and they don't really itemize towards a stronger early mid game. They go towards the late game items, which also makes it even harder for them to actually come back once they fall behind these early mid game points.
Should also note that Quicksilver Sash, although it was done a little while ago, is with Reckless. So that basically takes him out of harm's way, if you like, from Diamond. Ultimate will be able to be escaped from for Reckless. And there we go, they're just going to go straight on towards the tower. Couple more auto attacks will do it. Cocoon's landed on towards Darien. Have they got the damage to finish through? They just want this inhib now. That's going to create all the more pressure for Gambit to be trying to hold on against this barrened up Fnatic team that have got a 15,000 gold lead against them.
They do need to go to the side lanes though and push them out. Top lane seems to be the target for them, and they can do the same thing. Move up to the tower, brute force your way and just hit the tower as much as possible. Back away if Gambit looks to engage, otherwise you will just take down the tower like we saw here in the mid lane. And we also just saw the damage that before.
Trying to set up a bit of a trap here. Okay, and Yellow start waiting off on the curve brush. Will anyone come through? Nope. There's a scan on the ward, and then he's like, I could have got a bubble in there if I'd have just tried that one. No real follow-up to be had, though, from Gambit, and now finally that wave of minions has pushed on through. There's the ulti on towards Edward, and, well, he has to just flash away from that one instantly. Knew that the follow-up would probably be enough to knock him down and out of this game. There's another minion wave coming in. The bouncing bombs and zoning power of Ziggs continuing to be a problem and stopping Gambit from really holding on. There's the kick in towards Diamond, who instantly is going to flash straight back in towards his team. So as then was the focus, but that's all Fnatic really wanted here, is to draw attention away from the defense of the turret and take it down.
Source is very low though without teleport. Fnatic still staying around with the Baron buff. Really want to get down the second inhibitor, so they just have super minions from two lanes pushing into Gambit's base, making it even harder for Gambit to actually come back in this game here. But we might see Gambit go for the fight. With Source so low, this should be the time for them. He's actually recalling. They need to go and fight here.
Oh, Diamond actually stepping forward. They're going to go for sight. Now it's a good bubble to the back. Are they going to be able to finish off? A good repel comes in. Ulti from Xpeke. There's going to be at least one kill from this one. The rest of Gambit pushed incredibly low. And look at that. The super minions are coming through. Fnatic in a 5 versus 4 may have enough here to finish off the game after 30 minutes. It looks like they will. Both Nexus turrets going down. The constant damage from Ziggs at the back being a problem. Nexus now going to be focused. Darian's going to dive man mode in. He's going to pay the price. Died once again at the end, and the Nexus now free to be taken down. Fnatic going to be picking up a win. Not before they've gone for a few more kills though. Nick finished off there. Pekka gets the double. The Nexus is going to fall, and Fnatic keeps up their solid run here in Super Week.
They are definitely looking strong at the moment. Yellowstar, 100% kill participation. He's part of everything. His wards are there, spot on, setting up kills. And Fnatic just overall looking very, very good. The picks work out for them. Source, again, they send in this top lane here, finding the kills, finding the picks they need. Gambit on the other hand, kind of the opposite.
Yeah, relegation must be a real fear right now.
Especially because Rocket has started winning games.
Exactly.
I mean, Rocket, yeah, did some slow games, but they win them. And that's the issue, because it's Rocket, Copenhagen Wolves, and Gambit staying around close to each other in the standings. The teams fighting to get the last playoff spot. To, of course, avoid relegation. But Rocket, they do pick up some wins.
Insight into that match.
Thank you very much, Joe. First off, congratulations, Expeke. The curse is broken. You're not going to go equal. You're at least going to go 3-1. So congratulations on that game. Talk me through picks and bans. And why for the Ziggs? We know how many teams put a high emphasis on Twisted Fate, and you guys as well.
I expected them to ban Thix or something because I don't know, I didn't understand their bans. When they ban Oriana, it's a bit weird that they leave Thix open, no one will first pick it. And then we pretty much had a really strong champion already. Then we thought they would pick jungle, not the TF already, because we had the Thix already. But then they just picked TF and Lucian, so we could get Lee Sin and Eve, which are really strong champions. Where I think Diamond is way better on those than he is on Skarner. So when we had those champions, pretty much we felt really confident already that we had good champions. And their setup was not that great, so we could pick Vayne already, just let her free farm, and we knew that the moment we just keep going equal until late game we will win, but we even won we managed to win the early pretty hard, and Vayne was really strong.
Yeah, the game was definitely very one-sided. It felt like you guys were definitely sending a message. 2 confident wins yesterday, another one today. Explain to me why Soaz is running Lee Sin top, Ziggs top. Why is it working? Is it 4.10? Is it something you've done as a team? Or, I'm just looking for more insights. I
think it's more as a team. Like he played them before, and I think he played them. Sometimes it might not work, but Thix is a strong champion that works really. It's maybe not the best versus all the matchup, but in some matches it's really good because he farms on top really easily. And the thing with Lee Sin is he's super strong because he's not gonna lose the lane. He's maybe not gonna own his lane, but he can roam, and Soaz is really good at that. He knows when to move, when to do the insects really good, and when to flash kick someone. And it's like a really hard engage to have Lee Sin on our top lane, since he's going to be way more tanky than on jungle, and he can freely go in whenever he wants, go out, go in, and wait for the perfect engage.
We want to turn our attention to your opponents in the league right now for a second, and I want to actually start with Gambit in this matchup, because you've been playing versus Gambit and the same core of players for a couple of years now. What do you think it is that they don't seem to get going anymore in the season?
I don't know. It's hard to tell from them. It just feels like they kind of lose track of the game. Before they knew where they had to go, what they had to do, and now they kind of know. They seem to have lost a bit the thing. Even when they had Alex already, they just started to slowly become works. They had games that they were good, they had games that they were bad, but now it just feels like they are not as strong as a team as they were before. I don't think there are some games that they do really good individually, but then it comes to team play, to rotations, to everything, and they are just a bit lost. Sometimes they do something good, but most of the time they are following the other guys, the enemy team rotations.
Well, turning our attention to something a little more positive, you are on 499 regular season kills. Not sure if you're aware of that. If you pick up one more, it'll be your 500th kill, which means it's most likely going to happen against Alliance tomorrow. If Alliance pick up a win against Copenhagen Wolves, the 2 teams will be on 3-0. Who is going to win 4-0 in Super Week, and why?
That's hard to tell. Like I said, for me, I think for us was to go 3-1 this week. Like 2-2 was something that was probably going to happen. 3-1 was something that could happen if we didn't play bad. And 4-0 is something that can happen if we play really good. Like I don't think today we played that good, even though it seemed like we had control. I don't think we played that good. I think we played better yesterday. So if tomorrow we play like yesterday and we get a good setup, I think we can beat them.
Why is Fnatic so much more dominant in Super Week? You guys are 3-0, and you look like the team that has won all of the playoffs, which we haven't necessarily seen all of the previous weeks. What's different yesterday and today?
The difference, I don't know what's the difference from yesterday and today. I don't know. Yesterday, I guess we were maybe more awake. We had 2 games. The first game as well is easier for us. This one was a bit too late for us. So maybe I was sleepy at least. But
past your bedtime.
But yeah.
One final question about that. Let's turn it to you personally, because you've been very vocal in the past also about, I've been playing this game for so long, sometimes it is pretty hard to find a motivation. What is that like right now in this heat of the season and the importance of the games right now?
I think it always happened to us. Like last year, it pretty much happened the same, at least personally, and I think to everyone. When the season, you just finish a season, then you start another one, and then you are like, okay, here we go again at the beginning. It feels a bit weird the first weeks. Even though you are kind of motivated, you like the game, you don't really have ambitions at first at the split. But then when the end is coming, even if you are not playing at your best, you kind of think about it. Okay, there are only a few weeks left. Let's try to give our best these weeks and see what happens. Maybe even if we don't make it, we are going to give our best and not. I hate the worst, at least. The worst feeling you can have is when we lose by 1 game or something, and then we are like, if we practice 1 week more, we could have made it. So I think it's the best to practice when the end is coming for the super weeks where you can win 4 games in a... Like, if you have a bad day, it's really bad, but if you are really prepared and you win 4 games, you pretty much got 1 or 2 positions up in the ladder.
Always remember that there's a lot of people that want to be in your guys' shoes, so congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now let's flash back over to Joe and the Fish Show at the desk for an update on the standings.